Woo-hoo-wee. Hi, it's Honeybee Henderson. Something about subscribe and like, and there's some bell involved. I'm not sure, but I'm happy to be here and happy to be here with you. You can see with my eyes that I've been doing a little bit of detoxing through tears today. I have had hi friend. I've had a amazing healing on some abandonment issues that I thought were complete. So it's just about being present to the healing when it needs to happen and how it needs to happen. So I have this abandonment wound. What's one of the things that I've been working on? I used to really believe that I was first abandoned by my parents emotionally because when I was a kid, I was sexually abused. And mom and dad, as lovely as they are, couldn't really manage the thought or the idea of their 3-year-old child being hurt by someone else. And I've worked on this, for over 20 years, this abandonment wound. And then lo and behold, I'm in a relationship recently where it just felt like this was it. This is family. This is my guy. This is the one I want to spend my life with. It's hard as fuck. And I was so willing to be in that with him, the learning and the growing and all of it. And he chose to be with his child, which I don't disagree with. So we separated ways. There was other things happening, but mainly, he was gonna be back together with his ex and their child, their 4-year-old son. So I've been going through this like, oh my God, he didn't choose me. He chose her. This is, all unconscious stuff. And in my heart, I understand. And in my heart, I also know that um, this was an opportunity for me to learn about myself. This was an opportunity for me to see how deep my abandonment wound actually went. And abandonment in my life has played out several times. But the most significant part of me, that makes so much sense actually. The significant part of me that was abandoned was when I was 12 years old. And my best friend, Sarah Burton, shout out to Sarah B. She had to go to a different school. And right, it wasn't about her, it wasn't about me, it was about where her parents were living. And her parents wanted her to go to a different school. But to my little 12-year-old self, who was so in love, I mean, I love Sarah Burton to this day, but mother lover, I loved Sarah Burton like no one else I had ever known at that point. Sarah and I had so much fun together. We would make songs up and dances and be silly and play. And then we were into boys together and, really bonding and growing up together. So Sarah goes away to high school to a different junior high, middle school, and then we get back together in high school, and it's not the same. And that's the abandonment that I felt. We were back in high school, and I was like, I felt so sad and so lonely, and missed my bestie. But what I realized is that because I was so devastated by the loss of this friendship, I kept an arm out up until now, um, to people who wanted to be close with me because it was too scary to reveal myself. I was too afraid that if I did let somebody in too close, that then they would also leave me. So that's the pattern that I've been playing out in my life. You come in close, and then I'm going to push because I'm scared, and all my patterns and all my bullshit comes up, which is what happens. And the arm is like, it's unsafe, alarms going off. Unsafe, unsafe, unsafe. So I had a series of events happening in the last couple of days, and it's brought me back to that 12-year-old self. And today I reached out to Sarah Burton and I sent her a letter, and then I did some other searching, and I've been working with this, knowing that this was it for me. You know, this was my core love of my life. This was my first love that I lost. So now what do we do, right? We go back to the root of whatever the issue is, and then we get to heal it. So I've been spending some time today doing some EMDR and some tapping and mostly spiritual work that they're now putting scientific terms to, which is so cool. It's really amazing what science is doing to catch up with spirit. And I've been working with this abandonment wound since 2009, since I was in my master's program for spiritual psychology at the University of Santa Monica. Now, at the time, I had another best friend, Sammy B. Isn't that interesting? Sarah B, Sammy B, Honey B. I don't know. So Sammy B and I were besties. And then we also had a little split when I started to get a little bit too woo-woo in the spiritual stuff. And she was going down a different path at the time. And I reread an email today to her that was telling her about Sarah Burton and how when Sarah B and I had this thing, that how devastated my little 12-year-old self is, and I keep myself protected and I don't let people in because of my fear of abandonment. So lo and behold, I've got a beautiful, beautiful opportunity now. And I wanted to share with you because I'm so excited. Also, I've been holding this headache here for the last 2 months since this man and I separated. I mean, the final split. And I couldn't understand what was going on. And gosh, it's just headache, headache, headache on the left side. So I've been working with my spirit guides, and I got some more work to do, but I know that part of the practice and part of the process is to go in to where the wound is and say all the things that needed to be said at the time, and then reprogram in order to remember how beautiful it was. Sarah Burton, my God, I love that woman. I loved her as a kid. I love her now. Sammy B, I loved that woman. These were my besties. And I've had, close friends since, and I get guarded, and I'm really willing right now to change that pattern because it doesn't really serve me. It doesn't serve the relationships that I have in keeping myself closed or tight. It's like, can I breathe and can I open and can I be okay with people moving and going in different directions and not taking it personally? There is no abandonment. There's just shifts of energy. It doesn't hurt any less. My heart still longs for this man and still longs for to hold his hand and to create life together. Mother lover, that guy was fun and funny and one of my favorite humans. And he made a choice that had nothing to do with me. So we go in and we do the sharings, and then we apply forgiveness and compassion to ourselves, to the other. I got caught up in the science again because I'm fascinated with what's happening in the brain chemistry right now. And I also remember that I'm a medicine woman. And as playful and silly as I am, that's my path, is to go in through spirit. And when we go in through spirit, it's all about love and compassion for the self and for the other selves outside of us, right? A friend of mine once told me, it's me and the rest of me. So I'm me and y'all are the rest of me. So can I offer compassion to this Sarah Burton, for example, who had to go to a different school, had nothing to do with me? Can I have compassion for all of these relationships that I had? Can I have compassion for this man that he chose a different path that had nothing to do with me? I think that's the lesson I'm kind of wanting to convey right now, is that, back to Don Miguel Ruiz and the Four Agreements, is take nothing personally. And if I remember that, take nothing personally, then I'm happy and I can be free. It's not easy for me because I have like some attachment things to work out. I fall in love. And when I fall in love, I want to be with those beautiful beings until forever. That's just, I'm like, yeah, well, that's it. We're it. That's it. Love is love is love. And another thing I noticed recently is that my cat left. My cat Salsa, who I love. And she kept leaving and kept leaving and kept leaving. And I kept going and getting her. And she goes to the other house where I used to live down the road. And it's calm there. I love it there. Here where I live, there's dogs and there's cats. And she's a loner. She loves me and she wants her freedom, which is not about me. It's about her wanting to be where it feels good for her. It doesn't feel good sometimes, but it's not personal. It's not personal. Whew. Not something to swallow. It's not personal. So I'm just grateful, and I wanted to jump on and share. Hi, friends. Just to say, do your work, do your inner work. I'm not complete yet with this process. I still have some work to do, and I've reached out to all my people. I might even go check on Salsa tonight before sunset, just to give her a little love and let her know that I'm there and I still care and I love her. And it's okay that she chose to be on the other side of town where it's calm and quiet and beautiful and there's no animals for her to fight with. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that she's found a place she loves. And I think that's the ideas, right? We love, if we can, we love with open hands, without attachment. Oh, it's not easy, but I believe that's the work. So this cool process with EMDR, I just researched it a little bit. I was doing some of the work, and then I realized that's what we do in spiritual psychology. We go in to where the trauma started. You get calm, you envision the inception of the trauma, and you play it out. I don't know, in the shamanic world, they call it soul retrieval. Oh my God, I have so many tools that are now being named different things. And I'm like, oh, I do that. I do that. I do that. But if you just do that and don't do it for yourself, it's not worth anything for anybody. So I'm just here to encourage you to do the work for yourself, do the work with yourself, do the work to heal yourself, to find that freedom, to, oh gosh, to learn how to be free in your body. And obviously, I had this headache, I was saying, for, hi, Matt. I had this headache for the last 2 months, and I'm having all these revelations in this moment, and they're so deep and so profound. And I'm so willing to let myself be free. So I want to have a partner. I want to have someone to hold my hand. I want a family. And it's okay that this man chose a different family, but it's his family, I mean, he has a family. And it was never going to be, I don't want to say that, but it's just important, I think, for us to remember that we are our own family within ourselves. So yes, science is so epic right now, teaching us so many things, and I'm studying and learning and going into the biochemistry and to the neurology and seeing where things get stuck and where we suffer PTSD and, how things get. I mean, PTSD, what is it? It's just a pattern that's being repeated. So do your work, do the tapping if that feels good, do spiritual work if that's what feels good. Let yourself be free of the stories that have been holding you back. This story is unfolding in the minute, so I'm not really sure how it works out. But I move fast in consciousness. It's one of my, I get a little bit obsessed, which is probably something with my brain chemistry, but I go in so deep because I want to unhook things from the root. And I'm so glad you're here. And I think that's the main thing. So go in, check in with yourself, see what you need to do, see where your traumas began, and go fall in love with them. Realize like those moments are such powerful teachings for you, for your life, for your freedom, for your liberation. My trauma with abandonment was because I loved a kid. When I was a kid, she was my best friend. And it doesn't take away from that beauty. Just because she went to a different school, or just because this man chose a different life experience, those geckos living in the jungle. So it doesn't take away from the beauty of what you've experienced. And maybe it doesn't take away from the pain, but I do think that there's healing to be had, and compassion is always the key. And I'm so grateful right now. My whole left side, divine feminine, right? Left side, divine feminine, left side, feminine. All my abandonment stuff with mother, with besties. And I realized like I've been keeping people at arm's length because I'm too afraid to let them in, because they might leave. And that's true. They might leave. That is true. And it doesn't mean anything about you. So if you can keep your heart open when you're going through whatever you're being triggered by, and you can go deep inside, take time, do it for yourself. Free yourself, free yourself, free yourself. Yes, science is super helpful. I'm not taking away from that, but we work on the energetics. And now my relationship has shifted with this man. And now he's my doctor, which is odd for me because it's a little bit vulnerable to be in his care. I love him, I love him. I love him. But can I just let love be what it is and be okay with that's the way that we're relating? Can you be okay that love is the foundation of your relationships, and whatever form they take, and whatever I don't know, different experience, they put you in, can you just be okay with it? And remember that you are love. You are made of love. Every fiber of your being is love, high consciousness. So I'm so stoked you guys are hanging out with me. I'm going to start doing these more often. I was feeling super, now I'm healing, and so I'm sharing more and sharing some more past content that I posted different places that I'm learning so much from my past self. Thank you, past self, for doing such good work. I'm a deep diver, and this is the work that I love to help people go through. I just sent out a newsletter about hand holding, and I love to hold your hand. But first, I gotta hold my own hand. And my grandfather, I love him so much because he used to go like this. He used to look at the mirror and go, hey. And what is that? You know, that's holding hands. That's my dream and my vision for my life, is to be able to hold hands. It's so intimate. How you offer, how you receive. So thanks you guys for being here and for sharing and for being in your heart and open to receive. I started the beginning of the video saying subscribe or like, or I don't even understand any of this stuff. Somebody's going to teach me someday, but until then, here we is. I hope y'all have a beautiful night. Go in, be willing to be courageous, to look at your past traumas and really explore the healing power of compassion and forgiveness. And remember, the forgiveness is not, sometimes people are assholes. So the forgiveness is not about forgiving someone's behavior, but forgiving yourself for carrying the judgment against someone, because we're all doing the best that we know how to do. Same with Sarah, same with Sam, same with this man that I fell in love with, same with my cat. We're all doing the best that we know how to do in any given moment. Wow, I'm so fucking happy right now. I'm just had a migraine dealing with this, but now as things are, there's freedom. So let's be free together. Blessings.